Dark waters everywhere, no sky above, no earth below, just primordial chaos ruling everything. But in this silence, a war that will change the fate of the universe is about to begin. Written by Sumerian priests around 2000 BC, this creation epic isn't just a legend, it's humanity's first answer to the question of existence. Tonight, we're taking a journey back 4,000 years together. We'll hear the voices echoing in the great ziggurat of Babylon. We'll witness those magnificent moments when gods fought, the universe took shape, and humanity was born. Have you ever been in complete darkness? That moment when there's no light, no sound, when time itself seems to stop. That's how Enuma Elish begins. Enuma Elish Lenabu Shamamu. When above the sky did not exist, picture this, absolute nothingness. But right in the heart of this void, two forces are touching each other, Apsu and Tiamat. They're basically water. But not just ordinary water. Apsu represents the endless oceans of fresh water beneath the world. Tiamat is the source of all the salt seas above. What's happening between these two forces is a dance, but this isn't just any dance. This is the first rhythm of existence. Like a baby's heartbeat in the womb, the world doesn't exist yet, but creation's pulse has already started beating. Picture an ancient priest standing on top of that first ziggurat in Eridu, the oldest Sumerian city. It's midnight. He's looking up at the stars and wondering, how did all of this begin? Enuma Elish is the answer to that priest's curiosity. Millions of years pass while this dance continues. Since time hasn't been invented yet, measuring duration is impossible. There's just this endless union of two forces. And from this union, the first children are born. First come Lamu and Lahamu, the mud gods. Have you ever played with mud in your hands? How it takes shape, becomes moldable. That's Lamu and Lahamu, the first matter, the first form. They're not conscious yet, but they've started to exist. Then Anshar and Kishar are born, gods of the sky and earth circles. Now the concept of space begins to form. Up, down, in, out. Boundaries are becoming clear. The universe is slowly starting to take shape, but the real revolution comes with Anu's birth. Sky god Anu becomes the first being to say I, the first to become aware of his own existence, the first to be conscious. He can think now, make choices. And Anu's son A is on a whole different level. He's not just conscious, he's also creative. He can perform magic, possesses wisdom, can even see the future. Each generation surpasses the one before. This isn't just evolution, this is the evolution of consciousness. And this rapidly developing consciousness is about to face an unexpected problem. Thousands of years have passed, and the young gods have really grown powerful. Picture Ea's palace, golden pillars, crystal walls, and constant activity. The young gods have gathered, working on projects, conducting experiments, creating. Ea fills the air with colorful lights using magical formulas. Enli creates magnificent melodies with winds. Others are pursuing innovations in their own fields. Their life energy is so intense that their vibrations spread throughout the entire universe. This noise, for them it's creativity, but for Apsu it's just noise. The old god sitting at the bottom of his deep waters hears these sounds. At first it's just annoying, then irritating, then it becomes unbearable. You need to understand Apsu's character. He's the god of static order, order where nothing changes, where everything is calm and predictable. Once a system is established, it should continue the same way forever. That's his philosophy. But the young gods are the complete opposite. They represent dynamic order, order that's constantly changing, developing, renewing. For them, stagnation means death. This isn't just a generational conflict. This is a war between two different understandings of existence. Apsu calls his advisor Mumu. Mumu is also old-fashioned, opposed to change. The two meet secretly. "This can't continue, Mumu," says Apsu. "These children have stolen my peace. I can't think, can't plan, can't rest." Mumu seizes the opportunity. "Master, the solution is actually in your hands. You created them. It's your right to destroy them too." The terrible words hang in the air. "Destroy them? Think about it," says Mumu. "Without them, the old peace returns. Silence comes back. You'll live in tranquility again." Apsu turns this idea over in his head. At first it's horrifying. After all, these are his own children, grandchildren. But gradually it starts to seem logical. Maybe this really is the only solution. "You're right, Mumu," he finally says. "They need to be destroyed." But this conversation doesn't remain completely secret, because Ea isn't just smart. His intuition is also very sharp. One night, he has a terrible dream. In his dream, he sees Apsu trying to kill them all. When he wakes up, he realizes this wasn't just a dream. This is a warning. He has to act immediately. He urgently gathers the other young gods. "Brothers," he says, "there's great danger. Apsu is planning to destroy us." "What?" Enlil is shocked. "But he's our ancestor." "Exactly," says Ea, "but we're disrupting his order, and he wants to return to the old ways." This explanation makes everyone think. They really are living contrary to the old ways. More free, more creative, more dynamic. "What are we going to do?" asks Anu. There's determination in Ea's eyes. "We're going to stand against him. This isn't just for us, it's necessary for the future. If he wins, the universe will remain stagnant forever." And so the universe's first great war begins. But this war will be very short, because Ea has a bold plan in mind. E decides to take action, but this isn't easy. Apsu is very powerful, very ancient. Attacking directly would be suicide. He needs to find a smarter way. E's greatest power is in magic. He doesn't just use physical force, he also uses mental power, and he has the perfect plan in mind. At midnight, he infiltrates Apsu's palace, but he's not coming to fight, he's coming to cast a spell. A very powerful sleep spell. This spell is so effective that Apsu falls into a deep sleep. In his dream, he sees himself in the old days, days when everything was calm, when no one made noise. E approaches sleeping Apsu. His heart is beating fast. What he's about to do is terrible, but necessary. The entire future depends on this. With one move, he ends Apsu's life. This is how the universe's first murder is committed, a son killing his father. But for E, this is a struggle for freedom. With Apsu's death, his palace becomes E's, control of the fresh waters too. E settles there and does his most important work, bringing his son Marduk into the world. Marduk's birth is extraordinary. This child isn't normal. He has 4 eyes, can see in every direction, 4 ears, can hear everything. Fire comes from his mouth. His words become reality. His body radiates light. Looking at his son, E knows the real war is just beginning, because Tiamat is still silent, but this silence is temporary. She will avenge her husband. And indeed, the news reaches Tiamat. Her husband Apsu has been killed. The young gods have completely destroyed the old order. At first, Tiamat is shocked, then sad, then angry, and finally she begins to make plans for revenge. But Tiamat's revenge will be much more terrible than Apsu's, because she won't just be satisfied with killing. She'll establish a completely new order, an order based on chaos. Months pass after Apsu's death. Tiamat silently mourns, but this silence is the calm before the storm. A great rage is boiling inside her. The other old gods start whispering in Tiamat's ear. This is a great disrespect. Apsu's death cannot go unavenged. The young gods have gone too far. They must be taught a lesson. You are the greatest goddess, Tiamat. This is your responsibility. These words fan the flames inside Tiamat. True, her husband's revenge must be taken, but more importantly, the natural order must be restored. Tiamat decides to take revenge, but this won't be an ordinary war. She'll create a completely new army, an army of creatures never seen before. Tiamat's creativity is very different from Apsu's. She's the goddess of chaos. What she creates isn't orderly, it's terrifying. First, she creates giant dragons. These dragons aren't just big, they're also intelligent. They know war strategies, can apply tactics. Then scorpion men, half human, half scorpion. Their poisonous tails are deadly. Then storm birds. Their wings create hurricanes. Their eyes flash lightning. Fishmen, shark-headed warriors, two-headed monsters, each one more terrible, more powerful. She creates 11 different types of monsters in total. She equips each with special weapons. This isn't just an army, this is a doomsday machine. But her most important decision comes when choosing a commander. Her second husband, Kingu, will command this army. Kingu is powerful, but inexperienced. Tiamat doesn't just give him command, she also entrusts him with the universe's greatest secret, the Tablet of Destinies. This tablet is the most powerful tool for controlling the universe. Whoever possesses it determines the rules of the universe. By giving this tablet to Kingu, Tiamat declares him king of the gods. Now you are king of the gods, says Tiamat, and with this army, you will destroy the young gods. When the preparations are complete, the terrible news reaches the young gods. A fugitive runs to Ea's palace in terror. Tiamat is preparing for war. She's created terrible monsters. She's given Kingu the Tablet of Destinies. She's coming to destroy you all. When Ea hears this news, he freezes. Killing Apsu was easy, but Tiamat is on a whole different level. She's the primal force of creation, and now they have to fight against her. He urgently gathers all the young gods. The situation is critical. If Tiamat wins, not only will they be destroyed, the entire universe will return to chaos. But who can stand against Tiamat? When the Council of Young Gods assembles, the atmosphere is very tense. Everyone knows Tiamat's power. This isn't just a powerful enemy, this is creation itself. Fighting against her is like fighting against existence itself. Anshar, the old god, summarizes the situation. Tiamat is angry, her army is ready. Kingu has the Tablet of Destinies. This is our darkest hour. So what are we gonna do? Asks Enlil. Who can stand against her? There's a long silence. Everyone looks at each other, but no one steps forward. Finally, Anshar looks at Ea. You defeated Apsu. Maybe you can defeat Tiamat too. Ea takes a deep breath. Actually, he's even considered trying. But Tiamat is very different from Apsu. Apsu was static, predictable. Tiamat is dynamic, chaotic, unpredictable. I'll try, says Ea, but I'm not very hopeful. Ea appears before Tiamat, but the sight he sees terrifies him. Tiamat is no longer in her old form. Her anger has transformed her. Her eyes burn like fire. Chaos energy ripples around her. Are you the one who killed my husband? Says Tiamat, her voice like thunder. Ea tries to be brave. Tiamat, this war is unnecessary. We can live in peace. Peace, Tiamat roars. You destroyed my peace. Now I'll destroy yours. Ea feels Tiamat's power. This isn't war. This is suicide. He retreats. The council assembles again. It didn't work, says Ea. She's too powerful. I can't do it. Now hopes turn to Anu. Sky god Anu is more powerful than Ea. Maybe he can succeed. Anu tries too, but he also returns with the same result. He's helpless against Tiamat. Now despair has set in. Two powerful gods have tried. Both have failed. Who can stand against Tiamat? Just then, a young voice is heard. I could try. Everyone turns to look. It's Marduk speaking, Ea's young son. He's not fully mature yet, but everyone knows his potential. You? Says Anshar, but you're still very young. Yes, says Marduk, but maybe that's an advantage. I'm not bound to the old order. I can apply a completely new approach. Marduk's confidence is impressive, but everyone knows this is very risky. If he fails too, no one will be left. All right, says Marduk, but I have one condition. What do you want? Asks Anshar. Marduk's answer shocks everyone. If I defeat Tiamat, I'll become king of all the gods. This is a huge request. Nothing like this has existed before. There was hierarchy among the gods, but no absolute king. That's a very big request, says Anshar. And Tiamat is a very big threat, replies Marduk. Big risks require big rewards. The gods discuss the situation. There's no alternative. Either they'll make Marduk king and he'll defeat Tiamat, or they'll all die. Finally, they decide, fine, if you defeat Tiamat, you'll become king. But first, they want to test Marduk's power, because this is a very big gamble. The Council of Gods wants to make sure Marduk can really pull this off. After all, they're going to give him kingship. That's not something to take lightly. Show us your power, says Anshar. If you're really powerful enough to defeat Tiamat, prove it to us. Marduk smiles. What do you want? The gods talk among themselves. Finally, they come up with an idea. They bring a garment to the council. Destroy this garment with just your word, they say, then bring it back into existence. If you can do this, your power is real. Everyone holds their breath. This is a very difficult test. Creating and destroying with just words requires great power. Marduk points at the garment. Vanish. The garment instantly vaporizes. No trace remains. The gods look in amazement. Then Marduk speaks again. Exist. The garment reappears. Same color, same texture, same shape, as if it had never vanished. The gods applaud in admiration. This is an incredible display of power. Marduk truly has extraordinary abilities. Marduk, says Anshar, you are truly powerful. You deserve the kingship. So Marduk is declared king of the gods. But this isn't just a title. This means great responsibility. Now the fate of the entire universe is in his hands. Marduk accepts the kingship. I will defeat Tiamat, but this battle won't be easy. I need to go against her with my best weapons. He begins preparing for war. First, he takes his bow. This isn't an ordinary bow. This is a bow that shoots thunder. Then he prepares his arrow. Its tip is made of lightning, its shaft of wind. He girds his mace. This mace can shatter mountains. He prepares his net. This net is for trapping enemies. But most importantly, he takes 7 winds with him. North wind, south wind, east wind, west wind, and 3 more secret winds. He gets in his war chariot. This chariot runs on lightning and can go at the speed of sound. When preparations are complete, he turns to the other gods. I'm ready now. If I don't return, remember me. You'll return, says Ea. You're my son, and you're going to win. These words give Marduk strength, but at the same time, he feels the weight of responsibility. He'll fight not just for himself, but for the entire future. He sets off toward where Tiamat's army is located. Behind him are all hopes. Ahead of him awaits the universe's greatest battle. When Marduk approaches Tiamat's army with his war chariot, the sight he sees is breathtaking. Tiamat's creatures are lined up in a terrifying army formation. Giant dragons are flying in the air, breathing fire from their mouths. Scorpion men are scanning the ground, poison flowing from their tails. Storm birds have darkened the sky, their wings creating hurricanes. This isn't just a physical army. This is the army of chaos itself. Representatives of disorder, unpredictability, destruction. Tiamat herself has also changed. She's no longer that calm water goddess. Now she's in the form of a giant monster. Her body undulates like sea waves. Her eyes spin like maelstroms. When she sees Marduk, she makes a terrible roar. "So you're the little god who's going to challenge me?" Marduk stays calm. "I am Marduk, son of Ea, king of the gods, and your time is up, Tiamat. My time is up." Tiamat roars in anger. "I existed before you. I'll exist after you. You're just a temporary problem." Two forces face each other. On one side, Tiamat, representative of the old order. On the other side, Marduk, champion of the new order. This isn't just a battle. This is a clash of two different visions of the universe. Tiamat's vision, unlimited chaos, constant change, unpredictability. Marduk's vision, controlled order, intelligent planning, justice. The battle begins. Tiamat opens her mouth wide, trying to swallow Marduk, but Marduk is prepared. He blows violent wind into Tiamat's mouth. This wind is so powerful that it inflates Tiamat's stomach. The old goddess can't move, can't breathe. Marduk doesn't miss this opportunity. He draws his arrow and aims right at Tiamat's heart. The arrow flies at lightning speed and finds its target. Tiamat's death scream shakes the entire universe. With her, the morale of the Chaos Army collapses. Dragons try to flee, scorpion men scatter, storm birds fall to the ground. But Marduk doesn't stop. He takes out his net and catches the fleeing creatures. He doesn't let any of them escape, because he knows that if even one escapes, it could cause problems in the future. He also captures Kingu. Tiamat's chosen commander now stands helplessly before Marduk. "Give me the Tablet of Destinies," says Marduk. Kingu resists. "Never. This is my right." "You're right." Marduk roars. "You didn't earn this. This wasn't won with your powers. This was given to you as a gift." He forcibly takes the tablet from Kingu and places it on his chest. Now control of the universe is completely in Marduk's hands, but his real work is just beginning. How will he create order from this chaos? Tiamat's body lies there, her army scattered. What will he do now? Marduk looks at Tiamat's body, and a magnificent idea comes to mind. Marduk examines Tiamat's body. This isn't just a corpse. This is infinite creative potential. Tiamat may be dead, but her power can still be used. He splits the body in half. He lifts the first half upward. "You will become the sky," he says, and this part slowly expands, turns blue, becomes the sky. He places the second half below, and you will become the earth. This part solidifies, becomes soil, becomes the world. But this is just the beginning. Marduk uses every part of Tiamat. He makes rivers flow from her eyes. The Tigris and Euphrates rivers are born this way. He raises mountains from her breasts. The Zagros mountains, the Taurus, the Amanos, all from Tiamat's breasts. He scatters stars from her tail. The stars in the night sky are pieces of Tiamat's tail. He creates clouds from her hair. He brings forth winds from her nose. Everything falls into place. But Marduk isn't just creating a physical world. He's also organizing time. He divides the year into 12 months. He determines a sign for each month. Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, they all have functions. He gives the sun its duty. You will be king of the day. Light and heat are your responsibility. He gives the moon its duty. You will be queen of the night. You will manage the tides. You will determine the calendar. Everything settles into perfect harmony. Chaos gives way to order. Unpredictability gives way to system. But the order Marduk creates isn't like Apsu's static order. This is dynamic but controlled order, changing but rule-following order. Seasons come into being: summer, winter, spring, autumn. Each has its own unique beauty. Night and day come into being, both necessary, both beautiful. This new world is perfect, but there's one shortcoming. Who will take care of it? Who will appreciate this beauty? Who will build temples, offer sacrifices? The gods bring their complaints to Marduk. This world is beautiful, but we have to work constantly. We always have to do things, fix things. We don't have time to rest. When Marduk hears this problem, a magnificent solution comes to mind. Marduk carefully listens to the gods' complaint. They're right. Managing this new world really is a lot of work. Someone needs to help the gods. But the solution Marduk has in mind isn't just practical, it's also very deep. He'll create a new type of creature, beings not as powerful as gods, but intelligent enough. He consults with Ea. Father, I want to create new beings. They'll serve the gods, but at the same time, live their own lives. Ea asks curiously, how will you create them? Marduk points to captured Kingu. I'll use his blood. Kingu was Tiamat's closest ally. His blood has creative power. This is a very symbolic choice. He'll create beings who will serve from the blood of rebellious Kingu, from the blood of chaos. Beings who will protect order will emerge. They mix Kingu's blood with clean earth. This mixture isn't ordinary. This is the union of two different powers, divine power and earthly matter. Ea uses his magic to shape this mixture, and finally, the first humans emerge. These humans are weaker than gods, but much more intelligent than animals. They can speak, think, learn, but they're also mortal. Marduk looks at the humans he created. Your duty is to serve the gods. You will build temples, offer sacrifices, recite prayers. The humans nod in agreement. But Marduk's plan isn't just about this. He's not treating humans just as slaves. But he continues, you will also live your own lives. You will love, produce, learn. This world is your home too. This is a very important difference. Marduk doesn't see humans just as servants. He sees them as partners who beautify and enrich the world. Humans learn quickly. They learn farming, animal husbandry, house building. They develop languages, create arts, but most importantly, they establish relationships with gods, not fear-based, but based on love and respect. This new order makes everyone happy. Gods don't have to work so much anymore. Humans are also happy living. But what's most important for Marduk is that the universe has found balance. There's no more chaos, but there's also no boring stagnation. There's controlled dynamism. And the gods decide to celebrate this success. The gods are so impressed by Marduk's success that they decide to give him a special gift. This gift isn't an ordinary gift. This is a city that will symbolize his greatness. Marduk, says Anshar, you've given us a new world. Now we'll give you a new city. This city will be called Babylon. Babalu, Gate of the Gods, because this city will be where heaven and earth meet. The gods build this city for 2 years. Each works in their own area of expertise. E organizes the waters, Enlil organizes the air. Anu prepares the sky. In the center of the city, they build a giant ziggurat. This isn't just a building, this is a mountain-like structure, 7 floors on top of each other, each smaller than the one below. On the top floor, there's Marduk's special temple, Esagila. This will be his earthly home. When construction is finished, the resulting site is breathtaking. The ziggurat is so high that its top seems to touch the sky. Its walls are painted blue, reflecting rainbow colors when the sun hits them. The city's streets are orderly, houses beautiful, gardens green. Everything is perfectly planned. When construction is finished, a grand opening ceremony is held. All gods come to Babylon. This isn't just a city opening, it's also a celebration of the new order. A great feast is given. Gods eat, drink, dance, sing. The entertainment lasts 3 days and 3 nights. During this celebration, Marduk gives an important speech. Friends, today a new age begins. The age of chaos is over. The age of order has begun. But this order will be flexible. What do you mean? Asks Enlil. It will be open to change, says Marduk, because change is the nature of life. But these changes will be controlled, constructive. These words are very important because Marduk is saying he won't make Apsu's mistake. He won't prevent change. He'll direct it. And humans? Asks Ea, what will their role be? Marduk smiles. They will be partners of this order, not just servants, but active participants. This vision is the product of a very advanced understanding. Marduk won't be an authoritarian god. He'll be a collaborative leader. When the celebrations end, each god returns to their duty, but they're happier now, more hopeful, because they know they have a good leader. And on Earth, humans also feel this change, because they too are part of this new order. Now let's pause for a moment and think, is this story really just a legend, or does it have deeper meanings? When Sumerian priests wrote this story, they were dealing with very serious questions. Why does evil exist? Why do we suffer? What is humanity's purpose? What is justice? These questions are still valid today, and Enuma Elish gives very sophisticated answers to these questions. The first message, chaos is not evil, it's just unorganized. Apsu and Tiamat's initial state represents potential that hasn't been shaped yet. The problem isn't in their existence, but in staying static. The second message, change is natural and necessary. The young god's rebellion against the old gods shows that progress and development are normal. Each generation must surpass the one before it. The third message, power alone is not enough. Marduk won because he wasn't just powerful, he was also intelligent and just. Despite Tiamat's army, strategy and wisdom prevailed. The fourth message, humanity's value isn't just in serving. Marduk didn't make humans slaves. He made them partners of the world. This is a very progressive understanding. The fifth message, leadership means cooperation, not tyranny. Marduk didn't become an autocratic god. He became a leader who cooperates with other gods. These messages aren't just for ancient times, they're valid today too. We still face the same problems, still need the same solutions, but Enuma Elish's deepest message is this. Existence is a continuous process of creation. Every day, every moment, we're recreating the world, and we all have a role in this creation. Enuma Elish's influence has long transcended Sumerian borders. This story spread to many parts of the world and influenced the creation stories of different cultures. Think about the creation story in the Bible, the Spirit moving over waters, the separation of darkness from light, the creation of heaven and earth. These similarities aren't coincidental. Hebrew writers learned Enuma Elish during the Babylonian exile, but they adapted it to their own beliefs. They turned the polytheistic story into a monotheistic one. The War of the Titans against the Olympian gods in Greek mythology is also a different version of the same theme. The conflict between old order and new order, the cosmic ocean and primordial chaos themes in Hindu mythology are also influenced by Enuma Elish. Even Ragnarok in Scandinavian mythology carries the theme of re-establishing order. What does this mean? Enuma Elish isn't just Sumer's story, it's humanity's story, because the themes it addresses are universal. Every culture, when telling its own creation story, faces the same questions. How did we begin? Where are we going? What is our purpose? And Enuma Elish continues to influence people for thousands of years with the answers it gives to these questions. Even modern science finds echoes in this story. The Big Bang Theory shows similarity to the idea of primordial chaos turning into order. The expansion of the universe reminds us of the creation of heaven and earth from Tiamat's body. Of course, these aren't exact scientific explanations, but they show how sharp ancient people's ability to observe nature was. So what does this 4,000-year-old story tell us today? What meaning does it hold for people living in the 21st century? First, the inevitability of change. We live in a constantly changing world. Technology, society, culture, everything is constantly changing. And opposing this change means making Apsu's mistake. Enuma Elish tells us, accept change, but direct it. Second, the importance of combining power with wisdom. Even today, we see very powerful but unwise leaders. Marduk's story shows that real success lies in combining both. Third, the power of cooperation. Marduk didn't make decisions alone. He consulted with other gods, took their opinions. Modern leadership should be like this too. Fourth, everyone is valuable. Humans were created to serve gods, but this didn't make them worthless. Even today, everyone has their own unique value. Fifth, environmental responsibility. Marduk created the world from Tiamat's body, but gave it to humans to protect. Today, protecting nature is also our responsibility. Sixth, the power of hope. Even in the darkest moment, Marduk emerged and changed everything. Even in the hardest times today, we shouldn't lose hope. These messages aren't just individual, they're social too. Enuma Elish also gives clues about what kind of society should be built. A just society, a society where powerful leaders are wise, where everyone is valued, open to change but stable. Reading Enuma Elish, we understand how great a legacy Sumer left to humanity. This isn't just a story, this is an entire thought system. Sumer gave the world these things: the first written literature, Enuma Elish, the Epic of Gilgamesh. These are the beginning of literature. The first legal systems, the idea of justice-based social order. The first city planning, orderly settlements, temples, palaces. The first education system. The concept of school was born in Sumer. The first mathematics and astronomy. The base 60 system we still use today. And most importantly, civilization itself, the idea of living in organized society. Every part of this legacy still affects our lives today. Every text we write, every book we read, every piece of knowledge we learn, all of their roots go back to Sumer. But Sumer's greatest legacy is the way of thinking. They taught us this. Humans can change their destiny. Against Apsu's static worldview, Marduk's dynamic worldview won. This is not just a mythological victory, but a philosophical one. In every problem we face today, we encounter the same choice. Either we oppose change like Apsu, or we manage change like Marduk. Enuma Elish is clear on this. Managing change always produces better results. Enuma Elish's greatest power is that every age rediscovers it. 4,000 years have passed, but the story is still fresh, still meaningful, because the themes it addresses are timeless. The conflict between old and new, every generation experiences this. The struggle between chaos and order exists in every era. The war between injustice and justice never ends. The balancing of power and wisdom, every leader's problem. Humanity's purpose of existence, everyone's curiosity. There's no person who doesn't experience these themes, no society that doesn't encounter these questions. That's why Enuma Elish isn't just a story of the past, it's every generation's own story. Even today, we are our own Marduk. We're fighting our own chaos, trying to establish our own order. And maybe most importantly, Enuma Elish reminds us of this. Nothing is finished. A new beginning is possible at any moment. Tiamat's death wasn't the end. It was a new beginning. A new world was born from her body. The difficulties in our lives are the same. They don't represent the end. They can represent a new beginning. This message was valid 4,000 years ago. It's valid today, and it will probably be valid 4,000 years from now too. Because some stories never end, they live beyond time and are reborn to each generation. What's fascinating is how Enuma Elish sometimes seems to predict modern scientific discoveries. Of course, we're not saying ancient Sumerians had telescopes or particle accelerators, but their observations of nature were incredibly sharp. Think about it. The story begins with primordial waters mixing together. That's basically describing the primordial soup theory that scientists believe led to the first life forms. When Marduk splits Tiamat's body to create heaven and earth, it's eerily similar to our understanding of how matter and energy separated after the Big Bang to form the universe as we know it. The way the story describes time being organized, with calendars, seasons, and celestial movements, shows these ancient people understood that time itself needed to be created and structured. Modern physics tells us time isn't just something that flows naturally, it's actually woven into the fabric of space itself. Even the idea that humans are made from divine blood mixed with earth sounds a lot like how scientists describe life. A unique combination of star stuff. We're literally made from elements forged in dying stars and earthly materials. The Sumerians were saying something profound. We're not separate from the cosmos, we're part of it. We carry the universe within us, and we have a responsibility to it. Here's where Enuma Elish gets really personal, because if you think about it, each of us goes through our own version of this cosmic battle. We all have our own Apsu moments, times when we want everything to stay the same, when change feels threatening. Maybe it's a job we've outgrown, a relationship that's not working, or just the comfort of familiar routines. We all have our own Tiamat moments, times when everything feels chaotic, when the old ways of doing things have been destroyed, but we haven't figured out the new way yet. Those messy, confusing periods of life when nothing makes sense, and hopefully, we all have our own Marduk moments, times when we find the courage to face the chaos, to create something new from what seems like destruction. The beautiful thing about this ancient story is that it tells us chaos isn't something to be afraid of, it's raw material. Marduk didn't run away from Tiamat, he transformed her into something beautiful. Your setbacks, your failures, your moments of confusion, they're not evidence that you're doing something wrong. They're your Tiamat. They're the raw material for your next creation. Think about the biggest challenges in your life right now. What if instead of seeing them as problems to be solved, you saw them as Tiamat's body, powerful creative material, waiting to be shaped into something amazing? It's wild how relevant this 4,000-year-old story is to our digital age. We're literally living through our own version of the cosmic battle between order and chaos. Social media has created a kind of primordial chaos, information, opinions, and voices all mixing together without clear structure. Like the waters of Apsu and Tiamat, it's powerful but unorganized. We're seeing the same generational conflict playing out. Older institutions, traditional media, established businesses, conventional education are like Apsu. They want to maintain the old order. Younger, more digital native approaches are like the young gods. They're disrupting everything. Artificial intelligence and automation are our modern version of creating new beings to help with the work. Just like Marduk created humans to serve the gods, we're creating AI to serve us. The question is, will we be wise like Marduk and make them partners, or will we repeat the mistakes of the past? The internet itself is like Babylon, a place where all of humanity can gather, where information and culture from every corner of the world comes together. But like the gods building Babylon, we have to be intentional about how we construct this digital city. The lesson from Enuma Elish is clear. The side that combines power with wisdom will shape the future. In our digital age, that means combining technological capability with ethical thinking, innovation with responsibility. Every leader today should study Marduk's playbook. Here was a young god who had to unite a fractured council, defeat an existential threat, and then build a new world order. Sound familiar? First, Marduk didn't just claim power, he proved he deserved it. That little test with the disappearing garment? That's like a modern leader showing they can actually deliver results, not just make promises. Second, he negotiated terms up front. He said, "If I do this impossible thing, here's what I want in return." Modern leaders often make the mistake of hoping good work will be rewarded later. Marduk was smarter. He got the deal in writing first. Third, he prepared thoroughly. He didn't just rush into battle. He assembled the right tools, gathered intelligence, and made a plan. Too many modern leaders try to wing it. Fourth, and this is crucial, after he won, he didn't become a tyrant. He could have ruled through fear after defeating Tiamat, but instead, he built consensus. He created systems that worked for everyone. Fifth, he shared credit. When it came time to build Babylon, he let other gods contribute their expertise. He understood that sustainable leadership isn't about being the smartest person in the room. It's about getting the best out of everyone in the room. Modern corporate leaders, political figures, even parents can learn from this. Real leadership isn't about dominating. It's about creating order from chaos in a way that serves everyone. Here's something that should give us chills. Tiamat represents the primal forces of nature, and in the story, she becomes destructive when she's not respected. Think about what we're seeing today with climate change. For decades, we've been like the young gods making noise, disrupting the natural order without thinking about the consequences. And now, nature itself seems to be fighting back, just like Tiamat did. The rising seas, the extreme weather, the mass extinctions. It's like the chaos army that Tiamat assembled. And just like in the story, these aren't just random disasters. They're responses to how we've treated the natural world. But here's the hopeful part. Marduk didn't destroy Tiamat out of spite. He transformed her into something beautiful, the earth and sky. The message isn't that we need to conquer nature, but that we need to work with it. When Marduk created humans, he didn't make them to exploit the world. He made them to tend it, to take care of it. We're supposed to be gardeners, not strip miners. The Sumerians understood something we've forgotten. We're not separate from nature. We're part of it, and our job isn't to defeat it, but to find harmony with it. Maybe that's the most urgent message from Enuma Elish for our time. The chaos we're seeing isn't punishment, it's raw material. Climate change, environmental destruction, mass extinction, these aren't just problems to be solved. They're our Tiamat moment. The question is, will we be wise enough to transform this crisis into something beautiful? So here we are, at the end of our journey through the world's oldest creation story. But in a way, we're really at the beginning, because Enuma Elish isn't just about what happened 4,000 years ago. It's about what's happening right now, in your life, in our world. Every day, you wake up and face the same choice Marduk faced. Will you let chaos rule, or will you create order? Will you be paralyzed by change like Apsu, or will you embrace it like the young gods? The ancient Sumerians gave us this incredible gift, not just a story, but a blueprint for transformation. They showed us that chaos isn't the enemy, it's raw material. Change isn't something to fear, it's something to direct. Power without wisdom is dangerous. Everyone has value and a role to play. The future isn't fixed, we create it. Right now, in your own life, you're writing your own creation story. Maybe you're in an Apsu phase, wanting everything to stay the same. Maybe you're in a Tiamat phase, feeling like everything is falling apart. Or maybe you're ready for your Marduk moment, ready to step up and create something beautiful from the chaos. The tools are the same ones Marduk used: courage to face the unknown, wisdom to make good choices, the willingness to work with others, and the vision to create something better than what came before. This 4,000-year-old story is still being written. The next chapter? That's up to you. The Sumerians ended their creation epic with Marduk establishing a new order that would last forever, but they knew, and we know, that forever is made up of countless individual moments of choice. Every decision you make, every problem you solve, every act of creation or destruction, you're continuing the story that began in those ancient marshlands between the Tigris and Euphrates. So the question isn't whether you'll be part of a creation story. You already are. The question is, what kind of world will you create? The ancient words echo across 4 millennia, when above the heavens did not yet exist, nor the earth below. And the story continues, with you, right now, because creation never stops. It just waits for the next person brave enough to pick up where the last chapter ended. Your turn. And so Marduk's kingdom began, and it will continue forever, because he is not only powerful, but wise, and wisdom is never defeated. The story ends here, but the real story continues in the lives of you, our listeners. Because Enuma Elish isn't just a legend, it's a guide to living. 4,000 years have passed, but its message is still fresh, still powerful, still transformative,